If you ever see me post an exercise and you think to yourself, I could never do that because I am too old, too weak, too injured, too inflexible, whatever, the first thing I want you to do is give your head a little bit of a shake, because we are naturally adaptable human beings. And no matter how old we are, how many surgeries or injuries we have, we are always capable of building back. The second thing I want you to do is to look at the movement pattern that I'm demonstrating and think to yourself, what are the joints that I'm working on? What are the muscles that I'm working on? What is the movement pattern? Is it a push? Is it a pull? Is it a hinge, a squat, some other mobility movement? And then I want you to take a look at that and break it down and think to yourself, how can I replicate that movement in a way that's going to be accessible to me, right? So if you look at this barbell back squat and you think, there's no way I could ever do that, this is not where you have to start. Break it down. What muscles am I working? Quads and glutes primarily. What movement pattern is it? It's a squat motion. What mobility am I working on? Hip, knee, and ankle range. And there are a million different ways to build up to this variation. Literally just starting with a bodyweight squat, and if this is too much, a sit to stand exercise using a box or a table is totally fine. And if this is still too much, build some assistance into it using a dowel, a rope, a TRX, whatever you got around. One of the things that I really love about being a physiotherapist and having that training is that it gives me perspective on how to take an exercise like this, where the top level powerlifters are able to do hundreds of pounds and bring it down to something that someone who maybe just came out of the ICU or is maybe 82 years old and hasn't done anything in a while can do. But it's not rocket science. We can also break down movements that we do in the saddle in the same way. If getting on your horse from the ground, which is basically a really big step-up variation, seems too intimidating, we can break it down. First off, progressively working on your hip mobility, starting with a smaller box and building up to a bigger one to see if you can even get your foot up into the stirrup. And then working on step-up variations, starting with a small box with assistance, working up to bigger boxes, and eventually working up to boxes that mimic the height that your foot has to get to be in a high stirrup, and giving yourself some assistance the same way that you would from the pommel of the saddle or your horse's mane. No matter what you're coming back from, whether you've been in the ICU for 6 months, or you just had a knee replacement, or you just haven't been in the gym in 20 years or done any form of fitness, that is okay. There is always some form of regression, some place that we can start, and that is the beauty of being human, is that you can start at the lowest level and build yourself up.